Welcome to the Blue Cafe. We bring you stories of faith, love, and devotion. Yeah, just kidding, please help us grow by hitting that like button. Now on to the story. People have a forgiveness fetish, and I don't. Sorry for the length, I'm a bit emotional and I'm not good at editing things down when I'm emotional. TLDR, an old friend who betrayed me by dating and ducking my childhood abuser now wants me to forgive her and make amends after like 10 years now that said abuser is exposed and going to jail for all his horrible crimes. I, 27M, am having some issues with my family. I won't get into what or why too deeply, just that an abusive cousin, 32M, is in jail now and about to lose custody of his children for neglect, child abuse, and other things because I bought his son child therapy. This situation has opened a whole can of worms and brought up many old memories. Family and friends have been coming out of the woodworks about it. One such friend was a girl I knew all through middle school and high school. We will call her Barbara, 29F. Barbara was a friend that I had crushed on my entire childhood, but was never really interested in me. She is also one of the reasons I hated my cousin LaRon so passionately. Barbara was the daughter of my auntie Monica's best friend. She is a family friend and has been around our family forever. She is still around our family, and works for Aunt Monica and her mother's business. They run like a kind of floral shop that does fancy flower arrangements for big events. They do other stuff, but that's the gist. Barbara had heard about LaRon and seen how he treated me and his brother, but not the worst of it. I would tell her and she didn't believe me. I found out this was because she had always had a crush on LaRon and he would suspend certain behaviors around her, or be nice when it was just her. Barbara was pretty, but wasn't exactly what you would call endowed in any way. She was more your girl next door, beanpole kind of girl. Though because she was so willing and into him, he would be able to get her to do things with him and lead her on about a relationship. A nice way to say she was ducking him behind my back even though he always had a girlfriend. LaRon knew I liked her, and though I'm not so full of myself to believe he only did it to hurt me, he did enjoy throwing it in my face when I found out and rubbing in how much she liked him and not me, and how long he was able to get her to keep it from me. I found all this out the day our friendship ended, when she stood me up at junior prom cause LaRon called her to duck around just to see if she would stand me up. When I found out, I texted her and told her never to talk to me again and how she knew what LaRon did to me and had a relationship with him behind my back and how she was a bad friend. She countered by saying I'm pathetic and I was just jealous of LaRon, and that I was childish and chauvinistic for trying to tell her who she should be with, and that if I was her friend I'd be happy for her instead of being a spoiled brat, and that she never liked me that way and I should get over myself. Barbara tried to get in contact with me maybe a year later to apologize, after LaRon had grown tired of her and moved on, and started to be petty and cruel to her. She tried confronting his girlfriend, who ended up being baby mama 1, about their relationship and got into a fight with her. She got beaten up. I never know why two women fight over a cheating man, but the way he treated her and dismissed her after that apparently opened her eyes. I don't really know any of the intimate details because I deleted her texts after reading them and never replied. Since then I've seen her at a few functions and get-togethers, but have always kind of just stone-faced her. If she tried to talk to me I would walk away, and after Auntie Monica tried and got cussed out for trying to get me to talk to her, she gave up, and to be honest I've forgotten about her for the most part since after college, getting married, and moving away. Apparently she never looked in too deeply about my accusations when we were younger. She never talked to LaRon's young brother Emmy, 26M, about LaRon and the bullying, and even more surprising, the other cousins, like Monica's kids either. So she never once back then even tried to corroborate my story. With the drama unfolding now dragging everybody close to the situation into it, Barbara has apparently found out all the horrible things LaRon used to do. not just to me, but to Emmy, and around. Apparently the family just was all about keeping this man and his father's transgressions a secret. I don't know, and don't really care about that. It's one of the reasons I let my wife move me across the country to a state where I had no friends and family. I got a call from Barbara the other day, again on my house phone. She said she got the number from Auntie Monica, who I never gave that number to either, but she called me up wanting to apologize. She was crying and said she was sorry she didn't believe me back in the day. That she just thought I was exaggerating and was jealous of LaRon. I asked her why she thought that, and she admitted because LaRon had said so. She said she found out too late for herself that LaRon was a bad person and tried to fix the relationship, but I wasn't interested, which she understood cause she hurt me. I asked her to get to the point and she started crying. She told me I'm always so cold and cruel to her, and asked me if I could forgive her. She told me she was sorry, that she knows what she did to me was wrong, and that she was just a stupid little girl with a crush. I told her she did nothing wrong to me. I was not her keeper or her boyfriend. She was absolutely right to pursue a relationship with whomever she wanted, and it was never my place to try to dictate who she could and could not date. She told me that I was being dissentious about my feelings, and that I was skirting around the issue. I told her that we were grown, we hardly knew each other anymore, and there was no issue between us. She had made a choice at a time in her life that she thought would be best for her happiness, and that was that. I may be on the sub too much, but I simply said, if it had worked out and he was the man you wanted him to be, we wouldn't be having this conversation. You don't regret your actions, you regret that they didn't work out. Either way, it has nothing to do with me. She then cries and tells me she is sorry again, that I tried to warn her and that she knew it was wrong and that she betrayed me and our friendship going behind my back, and that if she had listened to me then she wouldn't have to have dealt with years of trauma. She also said that the maelstrom of shit opened old wounds for her and that she never knew how bad LaRon really was. Barbara told me she avoided talking to or about LaRon for years and he would treat her like nothing had happened between them, which hurt her, given the circumstances. At this point I was starting to get upset and rude, because I didn't want to talk to her anymore. She was dragging out old wounds and all that screaming and yelling I once wanted to do to her was manifesting, so I tried to tell her good day, but she insisted on continuing. She asked me to forgive her. She said maybe if I forgave her, then she could forgive herself. That she can move on and that she made the right decision. I got angry and told her that I don't have to forgive her, I don't have to forgive anyone. And she doesn't need my ducking forgiveness. That I'm just some dude she knew when we were kids and my opinion of her should have no bearing. She began crying deeply and then told me it's not just about that. I then asked what it was about and learned some shit that made me angrier. Apparently Barbara was pregnant with LaRon's baby and that's why he confronted him. LaRon's future baby mama fought her knowing she was pregnant and LaRon just let it happen. I didn't want to care, so I callously asked, so you lost the baby? But apparently LaRon came later and convinced her to get an abortion, saying he wouldn't help out with the kid and telling her how much her family, who are super church folks, would look down on her, and all kinds of stuff to get her to abort the baby. Which she did, despite being pro-life and her family being staunchly pro-life. She has kept this secret until now, with only her mother knowing who took her to get the abortion. I asked her what any of that had to do with me. I told her it was long ago, it happened, and it had nothing to do with me. She got upset and said that she was bearing her soul to me and that she knew we could never be what we were as friends, but it was hard to go through that without her friend. It was awful to know that it caused a rift between me and my Aunt Monica, and even though she understood what she did later, she didn't understand the full extent of LaRon's abuse and tyranny until all the family dirty laundry got aired out, and now she's back to feeling like complete shit, and just wants to apologize. I called her a selfish liar. She said she wasn't lying and I corrected her by saying she didn't call me to apologize, cause that would have taken a second. She called me for forgiveness. She called me for closure. She accused me of still holding a terrible grudge. She brought up how I stopped doing design work for Aunt Monica and her mom after they hired her, which was correct. I won't lie, it was petty, but it wasn't the entire reason. Aunt Monica underpaid me for my work cause she didn't appreciate the time. She wanted a massive family discount and thought I was getting good exposure. Barbara was just the final straw. She asked me why I couldn't forgive her. She brought up London and Paris and how London almost ended my life by falsely claiming I sexually assaulted her, and I forgave London. That I've even got Paris living in my house, and both of those girls were awful to me. She demanded to know what they did to get a second chance and that she had done more for me than either of them and that she was not the same silly girl and deserved another chance. I told her there's no rhyme or reason to forgiveness. I'm not obligated to forgive her or anyone. London and Paris got lucky. I was emotionally compromised during the time I dealt with them. And Paris put in her work to mend this relationship. I also reminded her again that if he hadn't turned his scumbaggery on her, she'd still be ducking the guy, thinking she made the best decision of her life. She argued against this, but I eventually got to the point where she ended it. She said something to me and I said something terrible and hurtful, specifically cause I wanted her to get off the phone and stop talking to me. I told her that she should thank Laron for forcing her to have that abortion, that she isn't tied to him and her child didn't have to know the pain that he would have gone through if Laron was the father. I told her that she made her choice and sometimes there is no later to make up for stupid choices. I told her that there's nothing here to salvage and that I do not forgive her. She cried and hung up, and though I felt bad, I also felt justified. Nothing I said was untrue. Of course Auntie Monica called me like 2 days later. Barbara hasn't been coming to work and hasn't ate and has been heavily drinking. Monica thinks I'm being bitter and petty and that I should let it go. I told her I had, but letting go doesn't mean being a bit player in someone's redemption arc. She then begged me not to let Laron's actions tear down another person and that I was raised better than that. I countered by asking how come no one else was. Barbara is well liked by most of the family on my side. I've gotten calls from my mother, father, Bast, and even London begging me to reconsider. London even threw in my face that I forgave her. My response was that I could unforgiven her just as easily, and she backed up. What should I do here? This woman is not my victim. I do not have any obligation to help her cope with the decisions she made. Even if not helping her comes from bitterness, it's not my job. How do I get people to understand that? Monica says I can just say I forgive her, and that will be enough, but I ain't gonna lie about it. I'm gonna tell her the truth. I don't forgive her and hope everything she does in life fails miserably. I know it's petty and it's bitter, but is it wrong? Am I the only one who cares about my own trauma? I told my family that everyone has a damn forgiveness fetish, and I wasn't buying in. They can forgive their enemies but I cannot, and I don't think that makes me a bad person. Frankly, you are right. You don't have to forgive anyone. She has not done anything to deserve forgiveness. They, family, hid the crimes of Laron. And they escalated, surprise surprise. I would frankly inform the family that they enabled all the abuse and were complicit in Laron's crimes. That they were on the cusp of being unforgiven by you after all you moved away and it would be nothing to block them. That after they all write a written apology for the abuse they allowed to happen to you and the cousins they can contact you. You do not need to forgive anybody that you don't want to. Also it seems she doesn't want forgiveness, she wants absolution. If you want any real peace you may as well go North Carolina at least until they get the hint. That was strongly done and you are well within your rights. I don't have much concern for Barbara. Her asking for forgiveness was reasonable, her pressing it was not. If you never speak to her again you could not be reasonably blamed. My only concern is lingering bitterness for you. That can be toxic. I would recommend letting any anger you have for her go so that you can carry on and live your best life. Do you ever tell her? May. I've been very good at letting go of anger as long as I don't interact with these people. The truth is it takes a lot of effort. Given the level of crap you suffered through, it takes a lot of effort to let it go is very understandable. Being North Carolina and distant is a very good thing. Can't say I think well of Auntie North Carolina with her might be best as well. That the entire tribe seems hell-bent on dragging you back into this drama, well it would piss me off too. Have you considered cutting your family out entirely? I know there are some members you like, but if the people you have a decent relationship with are a package deal with abusers, liars and narcs, maybe they aren't worth your while. This is just me throwing my 2 cents out there. My mother and father are awesome. My uncle is the ducking man. I have a good family. I often don't deal with the ones I don't like, and the ones that bring those in my life have done more than enough to stay in it. Most of my family is on the I don't duck with them side of the thing. But at the same time, I also don't want to be another black man who made it, married a white woman, and then cut off his family. I know it's shallow sounding, but it's not a good look. Tell them, if you want forgiveness, get religion. If you want unconditional love, get a dog. If you are not willing to at least consider advice from someone who is trying to keep you from hurting yourself, don't whine to them later. Forgiveness is a choice and a gift, not a right or something a person is entitled to. You handled that situation with such tact and class, you had nothing more you wanted from her. And you were spot on, she didn't want to apologize, she wanted someone to absolve her of her sins. You don't owe her any forgiveness. You told her that you moved on and don't hold any ill will towards her anymore. She insisted on continuing the conversation and would accept me for an answer. She was selfish, plain and simple. She wouldn't have even called if Laron's crimes didn't come to light. You only told her the truth. People make stupid choices all the time, and they have to live with the consequences. There are no do-overs in life. I've made mistakes I can't take back, and I have to live with them too, just like we all do. If she keeps pushing you, tell her if she wants forgiveness, ask her pastor for forgiveness, not you. Stand your ground with your family, make sure they either know where you stand or block them. And no, it does not make you a bad person at all. You have integrity, and a strong moral compass. Honestly, forget about her. It's that simple to draw a line, hold your boundaries and tell people they can drop it or stop contacting you. You don't owe them anything, especially with how they treated you in the past and how when you were down they didn't lift a finger to help you. Honestly, so much of your family sounds just toxic, even your aunt. Are you sure you want these people in your lives constantly trying to force you to conform to their wants and ideals while never holding themselves to the same standards? Also, this is the family that was okay hiding child abuse. They're not good people. I told my family that everyone has a damn forgiveness fetish, and I wasn't buying in. Let's be honest, that's the only reason forgiveness gets pushed on people in the first place. For people to keep their rose-colored glasses on. Also, good God, Barbara's a bitch that doesn't want to face that fact. Sometimes being the bad guy is the best thing you can do for yourself. Hell, it could be the best for those around you. You rescued your nieces and nephews from abuse by being the bad guy. My son is born. Well, if I had any doubts after the paternity test that he was mine, the fact that, like all the men in me, Bast, my dad, his dad, and beyond, he was born with a full head of bushy salt and pepper hair puts that to bed. He came out much lighter than I was expecting, but his color came on strong later. He looks just like me, my dad, and granddad. Bast luckily don't share some of our prominent traits. But you could put up a baby picture of me, my dad, and my son and not tell them apart. I was kind of hoping he'd be more handsome like Bast and my uncle, rather than like me and dad. Right now I'm just doing what I can to make my Amy more comfortable. I hardly get to hold my boy, as Amy seems to act like she'll lose her mind if he isn't with her for more than 5 minutes. Not sure if I should be concerned. Either way, he's beautiful, and right now his presence is a full stop to all outside concerns. Congratulations. Don't be worried about Amy wanting the baby with her every minute. She's just being a first-time mama. Congratulations. What Amy is doing is perfectly normal. The first 4 or 5 months, the only time our firstborn was not being held by me or my wife was at night when we were asleep. I even have pictures of me typing on a keyboard while he was asleep in my arms. Smile. You are doing the right thing. Focus on Amy and let Amy focus on the baby. When Amy is asleep you can have some baby time. Dude, immense congratulations. I hope this new addition does nothing but bring you joy. Let the wife know you are there for her, and Junior, this is the start of a life and you get to watch him from the very beginning. Congratulations again, and don't let things get too overwhelming. Take a minute or two to breathe when you need to. Good luck, sir. Congratulations, brother. Truly happy for you. All the best to your family. Congratulations, bro. Congratulations. I have been checking in regularly for this news. Well done to the both of you. Much love to your little family and congratulations, heart. Congratulations to you, Op, and to your wife. Welcome to the Parents Club, romantic face. Congratulations. One thing, and this is important, you'll do fine. We hope you have enjoyed this episode. Please help us grow, hit that like button. Have a good day or night, wherever you are.